Imagine waking up tomorrow, you open your bank account, and to your surprise, there's $1,000 missing because somebody decided to go on a shopping spree while you were going to sleep. This is what we now know for cyber fraud. It's when somebody grabs your personal information and does a harm with it. And when I say harm, is purchasing things that you are not even aware of. Cyber fraud is affecting millions of people, not just in America but around the world. I'm going to be talking about what it is, and I'm going to be talking about how to prevent it. And also I'm going to be talking about cyberbullying because there's a little bit of it in cyber fraud. It has something to do with it. There's a little connection there. Howard from Cyber Fraud Tactics, he says that in the past 4 years, cyber fraud became something very small to something big. And the reason of that is because before we were just looking for one person and only a few people could do fraud. But now with technology, now we have many people. We have little corporations of people that work with the same goal, which is gaining other people's information. Also from this book, The Cyber Fraud Tactics, Levy, he says that not only civilians are targeted, but governments and honestly nobody really can be safe of this. You can prevent it, you can try your best not to be a victim, but it's very hard because even the states and governments are targeted every single day, and it's really hard to trace back. It's really hard to find the person who did it because there's this thing called VPNs, and with that you can cover your locations, you can cover your personal information, and you can even set it up that every 5 minutes is bouncing off in different places so they cannot grab your location and they will never find you. Eventually they can find you, but it's after many years of work. As I mentioned, states are not safe with this, and something happened back in 2015 to the Ohio State. There was 100 computers hacked, and with that a lot of information, personal information of the government, was leaked, because usually when somebody that does fraud for a living gets your information, they come and they sell it to the black market. And what happens in the black market is that they sell your information in bulks, and not just your information, they put together like a little package. So let's say 20 credit cards, they will sell them for $50, $100, and whatever you get out of those credit cards is yours, obviously, and they're gonna be really hard to trace because you have to be really smart. How are you gonna spend your money with those cards, because they're stolen basically. So that happens in 2015, according to the Ohio State Editor. Also, from the Ohio State Editor, Josh, he says that by 2019, cybercrime will reach up to $2 trillion a year of losses worldwide. And according to an FBI report, Ohio is ranked 10th in the nation of cybercrime. So Ohio has a really weak cyber security, which is basically like a gold mine for all the people that do fraud, because that's basically their main state where they go and they hack and they gain information, personal information of other people. As I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about cybersecurity now. About cyberbullying. The reason why I'm mentioning cyberbullying is because cyberbullying has to do with fraud in a way, in a sense that sometimes people do bullying through the internet with their fake names, with fake pictures, and that's why there's a little part of cyber fraud that matches with cyber fraud. But I'm gonna be talking about how to prevent it, how to prevent from you being a victim. Although you cannot be 100% secure, there's things you can do to stay away from this fraud people radar. The first one is do not apply for jobs online unless you're secure and it's a legitimate website. Do not go on Craigslist and apply for jobs, because that's what I used to do. And eventually people grabbed my information and I started getting charged from different places that I didn't even know they existed. And all of this happens once I started applying, because once I applied on Craigslist and it tells me click this link and submit your resume, obviously my resume has all my personal information, my phone number, address, full name, and a history of things that I have done before. Another way is that as soon as you get on a suspicious charge, to contact your bank, tell them to change your debit card. Most banks, they try to do it for free. And also, if you feel like you were a victim, to just report it right away. Sometimes they are nice enough, or you have coverage up to a certain amount of money and they can reimburse you the money. I interviewed Edward Lavia from CEO of Eagle Tech, and he told me that these are the best things to do, because you really don't want your information to be there flying around. There's really nasty people that they do a lot of things with the information, whether it's buying cars, buying houses, or buying things that you are not aware of. And like, as I mentioned in the beginning, you suffer the consequences at the end.